So I meant to make another video talking about some questions that people had from World's Strongest Man and how it went down, and if I could answer them. Of course, this is all my opinion and nothing is official, but I know a thing or two. Whew. So let's go through those to finish this video out, since I forgot to do it earlier. What's the circumference of Eddie Hall's head? Can't measure that. It weighs more than any Atlas stone that's ever been lifted. Can you speak with the organizers about changing the qualifiers for next year? Novikov not getting in was so unfair. I don't think anyone is listening to me about anything. On a scale from 1 to 10, how underrated is JF Caron? 11. Do you think there should be more events in the final, maybe over 2 or 3 days? Yes. I think it's a more complete test of strength. There's more events. There used to be 7, 8 events in the finals, then 6, and now 5. So there. I think there should be more events. More on that later. Do you feel the contest is too light? Is there too much emphasis on speed and endurance rather than strength? So this is something a lot of people have been saying, which is absolutely ridiculous. World's Strongest Man has only gotten heavier. The squat they used in the finals was 50 pounds heavier than it has been in previous years. There was a 1,300-pound yoke in the qualifiers. They did a 440-pound stone for reps. The last stone, I believe, weighed 484 pounds, maybe 460. How fucking heavy do you want it? The reason why you think speed, if I don't know how you could think that World's Strongest Man has become more speed and endurance unless you've been watching the sport for 3 days. I'm sure I'm going to get lots of comments on this, but whatever. Go back and watch World's Strongest Man from 3 years ago. It's only gotten heavier. There was 1 year, 2017, where it was very, very static and very heavy. That was the anomaly. That was the exception, not the rule. World's Strongest Man has had 10-part loading races. It's a mixture of speed and strength and agility. That's World's Strongest Man. There's plenty of problems with World's Strongest Man, but it is not too light. And you're supposed to test speed and endurance. You're supposed to be a complete strength athlete. If you want to just see static lifting, go follow fucking powerlifting. I am a huge Lisi's fan, but I cannot stop wondering, what if Thor hadn't got injured, would Martins still win? I think Martins looked the most confident and the most prepared out of anyone there. Thor not getting injured, I think he picks up a couple of those. He picks up a couple points in every event. Is that enough to close the gap? Maybe, but that's part of sport, is staying healthy. And there's a lot of factors in that. Maybe if the yoke or the truck pull wasn't as heavy, then, there wouldn't be a thing. Again, yeah, you know how many people got injured this year and you want it to be heavier? I know anyone who says that doesn't personally know any of the athletes and hasn't hung out with them after this contest. Even the ones that looked like they didn't get injured fucking hurt. So you have no compassion for the athletes or any understanding of what they go through if you have that kind of opinion, in my mind. Is there a live stream? Yes. Check startingstrongman.com over and over and over. Just keep hitting refresh and hit all the ads on the page and buy some stuff. Skipping that question. It's dumb. How does Martin, not Martins, Lisi's win? I feel like he is not the strongest man in the world, but more like the best strongman athlete, not pure strength. You, sir, are a moron. You don't follow the sport. Martins won the squat. What more do you want? He beat the static event. He was right up there in the overhead medley. You know why? I'm going to keep having to go back to why you think World's Strongest Man is too light, because this seems to be a question, and I know I'm calling people morons, and I apologize. I shouldn't do that. But you need to be more informed about the sport, and that's my intention, is to inform more people of the sport. So maybe if I insult you, you won't. Martins is ungodly strong. He's very strong. If you watch any of the videos of him training with Hathor, he's holding his own. Maybe he doesn't incline dumbbell bench as much. He deadlifts 970 pounds for Pete's sake. Well, He deadlifts 970 pounds. He has a 200 kilo overhead. How can you not say he's strong? He's also a good athlete. You have to be a good strength athlete to do strongman. If you want to do just static lifting, then you can do other sports that focus on that, like powerlifting. You have to move with weights. You have to move laterally with weights. There's more to strongman than, like, I don't know what you guys think strongman is. It's never been what you guys think it is. And I think a lot of the time when people talk like this, they're just upset that their favorite person didn't win it. And Martins has been working hard, and if you look, he's gained a lot of weight and a ton of static strength. So maybe you look back 2 years ago and he wasn't as statically strong as he is now, but he is now, and that's what happens when people close those little gaps of those tiny deficiencies they have, and they make it up to that world level to not lose too many points in that event. And he's done that, and that's why he's won. He kept working. During the qualifier, Martins didn't need to win the last event, but instead needed to do a single rep to secure a spot in the finals. Was there any benefit to him winning that last event and securing additional points? No. I think Martins just felt fine to do more reps on the log. Yeah, that's already been covered too much. This is actually a good question. How do we think Johan Els would have fared if he'd been able to get that visa? He's a great competitor, and I believe would have been a top 5 finisher. I think he would have definitely made the finals, especially with how good his stone loading is, and there being last man standing stones. Just kind of depends on, everything else. Who else was in his group? If Trey was in his group, good luck. Yeah, and I think he would have done really well and made the finals, and he's very fast at loading. We know that. He's good at a lot of the events. The squat, not sure. Overhead, he would have struggled, but he would have stole points in certain events, like for sure, like the loading race and the Atlas Stones. And he should have been there. It's unfortunate. Where do you think Tom Stoltman will be in 3 years? Probably world's strongest man if he keeps improving like he has. He looks so much better this year than he has. He's made improvements. He didn't seem to make any mental mistakes. I don't think he even had his full kit or bag. It got lost, and he still competed and fine with SBD. Probably just gave him new stuff, because they were there, or he borrowed it. So yeah, he's as likely to win it as just about anyone else who hasn't yet. Probably the most likely, other than Matus or Novikov, maybe. Not answering shock questions. He does a perfectly fine job of doing that on his own channel. What changes need to be made before next year's event as far as fan experience, streaming, and communication with the athletes leading up to World's Strongest Man 2020? They should definitely get the venue secured as soon as possible and let athletes know, even if they don't let the fans, even though people like me will probably spill that. So visas are secured. The events should be more finalized. If they're going to make something super heavy, they should announce it within 12 weeks. They shouldn't just put yoke. If it's going to be a normal range of weight that we're used to seeing, like a 900-pound yoke, even 1,000, that's fine. But you shouldn't create weights that no one predicted to happen, like a 1,300-pound yoke for a couple steps on people last minute. I think they're really surprised by how many people there were at Worlds. I mean, there's people standing on boxes, standing on ladders to get a better view. So I think they really could make it a spectator-focused show. I just don't know what they will, since it's shot to be a TV show. What are your thoughts on Bryant's performance suffering, including the brachialis issue, due to how hard he had to push to win his heat compared to other finalists? His effort to win over Novikov was no small feat, far more impressive than what happened Sunday, and I think 2 days of Shaw versus Novikov wore the big man out. Yeah, very possible. Very possible, and there's also no break in between the finals, and there usually is to recover. So, something's got to give, especially when you're one of the bigger athletes and one of the older ones. Blah, blah, blah. Does Eddie's head get bigger when he swears? I mean, it keeps getting bigger. He swears a lot. It's like Pinocchio. How many tins could a Martins tins of Martins could tins? Thank you. Any possibility of Big Z coming back next year? He said on his Instagram he might come back next year. I've been watching Martins for months. Do you think his methods are going to cause other strongmen to rethink their training? At the very top of the level, no, because they know what they're doing, but in the amateur, whatever ranks, people are very easily influenced. So they do whatever the flavor of the month is. I mean, last year when Martins set the Steinborn world record, I saw like 50 videos of people doing Steinborn squats in the Starting Strongman group posted, so yeah. Oh, this moron's back again. Okay, do you think World's Strongest Men will evolve into a sport where the TV spectacle is secondary to the competition and live spectator experience? I was there Friday and Saturday, and it was one of the most poorly set up and organized things I've seen. I was in awe of the athletes and completely underwhelmed by how it was organized. I think other shows have, like all the Giants live shows, like the upcoming Wembley show, etc. And I think other shows have. I just don't see World's Strongest Man doing that in the future. I don't speak for them, but I think they've been doing the same thing since 1977, so why are they going to change it now? They've changed little stuff, so I'll give them some of the benefit of the doubt. And they make a great TV show. It's produced very well. Lots of other, there's other issues with it, but, as far as the product they make, as far as making a TV show, it's one of the most enjoyable, shows on TV to watch, and it's why most of us probably are even, I'm talking about this and you're talking about that, is because we found it from World's Strongest Man. So it does more help for the sport than anything else. It gets more people that watch it on Christmas morning with their uncle or dad or grandfather or whatever, end up getting intrigued by these seemingly, like, you can't even believe someone could lift that or be that big, and it influences you. It's like a modern life superhero. Now, I'm so in the sport that it's a little different, but you got to think back of how it was when you first saw it. It's interesting. Thanks for watching. I'm Kalle Beck.